Hi, I'm Will Ham. I'm a retirement plan advisor with 27T Financial. We are excited to officially be launching the YouTube channel for investors like yourself. Really, our goal is to get real-time information out there directly to you in a fashion that's easily digestible on your own time. Outside of scheduled meetings and talking in depth about your personal situation, we want you to have a good understanding of what's going on in the market as a whole so you can make positive investment decisions for yourself. I really feel strongly that how we do that is using visuals and data to help provide a true understanding of what's going on in the market and how you as an investor can capitalize on that. What we're going to be looking at here is a chart from a Wall Street Journal article. I think provides great overview of what's happened in the past and what's happening today. This comes from Rapidan Energy Group via the Wall Street Journal. And what we're showing you here is the size of the overall supply disruption to the global oil market. And this is going back to the 1950s. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. In really each of these events, the Arab oil embargo, the Iranian Revolution, the Gulf War, these all felt catastrophic in the moment. Oil spiked, markets panicked, the news cycle was relentless. And every single time, the spare capacity in the darker bars eventually absorbed the shock. So with what's happening in the oil market today, it's real. There are extreme concerns today, but it's not without precedent. Really, the global economy has navigated disruptions like this for a long time. Markets gain their footing. And as a 401k and long-term investor, what this means practically is that this volatility, the ups and downs of the market from an energy shock is not new and is often a very temporary type of environment. Moving on to chart 2 here, chart from the Wall Street Journal. This comes from FactSet. And we're looking at the Brent crude prices during conflicts and looking at 30 days before and 30 days after a war begins. And what we're showing here is how oil prices move during 3 major conflicts: the Gulf War, the Ukraine war, and what's currently happening now in Iran. So yes, prices surged. Even leading up to the actual war beginning, you see how markets moved ahead of the war beginning and continue to climb after it actually happened. That dotted line right in the middle is when the war begins. And after the Gulf War, that gray line on the top, prices spiked dramatically and then came back down. The Ukraine war, we saw a similar pattern, sharp up and then return to the baseline. And what I would expect is something similar here. When you're reading it on the news, when you're paying for it at the pump, it feels permanent. And what I want you to realize through this chart is that rarely is it actually permanent. A lot of fear gets baked in really quick, and then prices return to reality. As a long-term investor, now let's jump into something that's going to hit close to home as an investor. And that's the S&P 500, the stock market return during these geopolitical shocks. Again, this is using the same data from the Wall Street Journal article via FactSet. And what we're looking at here is how the market has performed during those geopolitical events. The Ukraine war, the Arab oil embargo, the Gulf War. And I think it's very safe to say, yes, the market has sold off. You can see it dropping below zero on the left side of the dotted line even before shocks begin. But if you look at where things continue, you tend to see short reversals, and it moves pretty dramatically. The line dropped almost 15% in less than 2 weeks, but it recovered. And really, that's the key takeaway here. What we're looking at is a very short period of time from a trading perspective, from an investing perspective. You're looking at 25 trading days. And you see a sharp move down followed by a sharp recovery. As a long-term investor, these things happen. I don't want to make it sound like nothing is happening from a global perspective. Loss of life, war is a terrible environment. But the lens that we're focused on here today is that of the investor. And as an investor, to be successful through these type of environments, it's understanding that we've seen things like this before and we're able to make it through. And I feel like this last chart here we're going to cover today really drives that home. Morningstar Wealth has a great data set looking at about 85 years of major global events and how they impacted the stock market. If you look at the first column, the 1 month column, you're looking at an average return of just under -2%, or just at -2%. Now, that's real, right? Nobody likes seeing their account go down. But if you zoom out even just a little bit to 6 months, on average, you're returning over 3%. And the market is positive 64% of the time. Look out a year and that jumps all the way to almost 5% with a median return of 8.7% and positive 67% of the time. That's including 9/11, the Lehman collapse, Brexit, every time. The investors who have stayed invested and participated in the recovery are the ones that are successful over time. My opinion is stay the course. Take a look at what you're doing. Make sure that you're comfortable with the investment strategy and your asset allocation, but overall, no major changes should be happening from an investment strategy perspective for you, simply because there's a regional conflict going on in the world. What I want you to take away here today is these things happen. It's terrible, but from a market and investing perspective, there's not a lot to worry about if you zoom out 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. If you have questions, you want to make sure that your strategy is set up appropriately to weather environments like this. I've linked my calendar below in the show description, so please feel free to subscribe there. We'll also include a link to the Wall Street Journal article so you can read a different perspective here and make sure that you're well understood or well versed in what's going on in the world. Subscribe and make sure that you get all of the up-to-date videos that we're going to be rolling out here in the future. Thanks so much.